Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Yamuna Tira Manachari Yamuna Tira Manachari Yamuna Tira Manachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Shri Shri Radha Madhava ki jai Gauradesh Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Krishna devotees, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. So before we reach Srimad Bhagavatam in Köln, we usually read this book, or at least this time. A Transcendental Diary, Travel with His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada by Harisori Prabhu. Prabhupada, we are now in New Delhi, 1975. Prabhupada pointed out one of the New Delhi's flea-bitten dogs sniffing in the gutter. This is a nice sentence to begin with. So this is a flea-bitten dog. You know what fleas are? Like floor marked fleas in the dog. There was so much bitten by fleas that you can see it from the outside. Those who have been to India, they know. You've seen the flea-bitten dogs in India? Not really. So, not really. This time, not much. Some years ago, you could see in Mayapur, it was full of flea-bitten dogs. These dogs with no hair, very unhealthy looking. The wretched dog was homeless, scratching for food, and suffering without the master. Prabhupada says, this is Shudra. If anyone depends on the master's mercy, he is a Shudra. Here in New Delhi, these big buildings, big offices, as soon as the government will sell, there will be street dogs, the officers of the big government officers. That's all. Now they are plundering by official instrument. So when the government will be finished, they'll become street dogs. This is your civilization. Immediately, all of a sudden, there is attack on New Delhi. All the people will starve. There is no food at home, and they will die. Prabhupada sometimes was painting such a bleak picture of the world. You think like, you read 5 pages of Bhagavatam and think that's it. You know, you look outside, everything looks dark, and the world will collapse within maybe 2 weeks, the most. You know? There'll be no food, there'll be wars and earthquakes and the whole thing. But actually, something similar happened recently, during this amazing thing called pandemic, that people in Delhi, particularly, they're talking about Delhi, were leaving Delhi in mass. You know, thousands of people are leaving Delhi because there was nothing to eat. So everybody, they said some people are walking 100, 200 kilometers to go back to their village. Some even 300, 400 kilometers. Because at least in the village there's something to eat. And in the cities there's nothing to eat. We, of course, we're in Germany here, so we'll always have something to eat. But the first thing was that disappeared during the pandemics was, who was here? Pasta. There was no pasta. You know, everybody was buying pasta and passate tomaten and toilet paper. These three, and oil, 4 items. These were the main. You go to the Lidl, empty. Toilet paper empty, passate tomaten empty, oil empty, pasta empty. Other things, chips also. But otherwise everything was, you know, so this was Prabhupada said, what will you eat? You know, what will you eat if something happens here, Prabhupada says, if New Delhi collapses, people will starve. So Prabhupada was not talking just some words to inspire us to leave the material world, and he paints a bleak picture, but actually this is a possibility. When I remember when I was reading the conversation of Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada says to his disciples in Los Angeles, he said, if you, there will be war within your lifetime. And I remember reading this, I was thinking, yeah, in America, really, yeah, right, you know, America, how can this in America, you know, most stable country in the world. But now we see this is not far from reality. It could happen. Very realistically, next couple of years, next 5 years, 10 years, this could happen. So Prabhupada was not speaking some words. You know, we have to, sometimes, like as we read here, sometimes we think Prabhupada is exaggerating. I will actually speak about this a little bit during the Bhagavatam. But Prabhupada is never exaggerating, because Prabhupada came to this world and he saw this material world as it is. You know, many times when we have some, you know, when you travel and sometimes you experience some negative exchange with some people, and just first thing we remember what Prabhupada always says, fools and rascals. It's the material world, both us and them, you know, they're both of us are fools and rascals. Because we put ourselves in such a situation to be uncomfortable and to totally unnecessary. So taking Prabhupada's words very seriously, this is the point of this. Then, that's a really important point, Harikesh responded, that the government takes more and more and everybody gets poorer and poorer. Yes, Prabhupada replied, the government is also poor because they do not know how to govern. Buddhi yasya balam tasya. If one has got intelligence, he has got strength. Harikesh added, change of government means getting poorer. Just like they say, Prabhupada confirmed, a change of theories by the rascals. Change means rascal. Anything change means it is the domain of rascals. Pandemonium. Just like in Manu Samhita, it is said that women should not be given independence. Once said, that is a fact. If you want to change, you suffer, that's all. I said, any deviation from absolute law means immediate suffering. Prabhupada agreed, yes. Bas, immediately you have to suffer. You are painting a pretty bleak picture, Harikesh suggested. Prabhupada didn't immediately catch the idiomatic expression, so Harikesh elaborated. The one you are painting of society and the future, there is no hope. No, Prabhupada says. Unless they take to Krishna consciousness, there is no hope. That's a fact. There will be more chaos, more chaotic condition, and everyone will suffer and perish. Achinna dara dravina yasyanti giri kananam. This is already predicted. I am not painting, it is already there. I am simply repeating, that's all. I am not speculator. Actually, most of them are aware that they are in a very bad position, I added. This is Hari Sori Prabhu. Everybody is expecting another war. Yes, just see. This is the capital of India. Just see the position. We can now understand. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. These are some heavy good morning words from Srila Prabhupada. Now can read a little bit more heaviness on Srimad Bhagavatam from the 5th canto. There's some words, unless there's some scientists amongst us, these words are very difficult even to understand. This is the word, what's the verse?
The movement of the sun.
4.
4. Okay, because 4. Yadam, I just read this. Yadamesha tulaya vartate tadahora trani samanani bhavanti yada Vishadabadishu panchasu charashisu charati tadadahayani eva Vadante krasati cha masi masi kaika ghati karatrishu. Translation. When the sun passes through Mesha, Aries, and Tula, Libra, the durations of the day and night are equal. When it passes through the 5 signs headed by Rishabha, Taurus, the duration of days increases until Cancer, and then gradually decreases by half an hour each month until day and night again become equal in Libra. Luckily, there's no purpose. Unless you're an astrologer. You're an astrologer? Anybody knows a little bit about astrology? Sebastian?
I know.
Huh?
I know
a little bit. When the sun passes through the 5 signs beginning with Vrishchika or Scorpio, the duration of the days decreases until Capricorn, and then gradually it increases month after month until the day and night become equal in Aries. Until the sun travels to the south, the days grow longer. And until it travels to the north, the nights grow longer. Shukadeva Goswami continued, my dear king, as stated before, the learned say the sun travels over all sides of Manasottara mountain in a circle whose length is 95,100,000 yojanas, or 800,000 miles. On Manasottara mountain, due east of Mount Sumeru, is a place known as Devadani, possessed by King Indra. Similarly, in the south is a place known as Samyamani, possessed by Yamaraj. In the west, place known as Nimlochani, possessed by Varuna, and in the north, place named Vibhavari, possessed by the moon god. Sunrise, midday, sunset, and midnight occur in all those places according to specific times, thus engaging all living entities in their various occupational duties and also making them cease such duties. So there's some description here. The living entities residing on Sumeru mountains are also very warm, as at midday before them the sun is always overhead. Although the sun moves counterclockwise, facing the constellation with Sumeru mountain on its left, it also moves clockwise and appears to have a mountain on its right because it's influenced by the Dakshinavrita wind. People living in countries at points diametrically opposed to where the sun is first seen rising will see the sun setting.
Excuse me, there's going something on all the time, nobody can concentrate there. Don't listen, that maybe they should stop this, I don't know. Nobody can listen because they are like
Who?
moving this thing, I don't know. Maybe they should just stop it.
Glasses in a way.
Yeah.
This is the beauty of modern technology. We can use it, we can talk, but then there's so much disturbance at the same time. So you wonder, is it better or is it more disturbing? Like how can you live with it and how can you live without it? So I'm for to live without it, but it's not possible. I don't think anybody. I'll be happy to not have any internet. It would be kind of nice. To be like in old days, the sadhu goes on the tree, in harmonium, you sing and people gather around you. Go to the village for evening and sing and go away. That's it. The living entities residing in Sumeru mountains are always very warm. The people in countries at the opposite end of the line would be experiencing midnight. Similarly, if people residing where the sun is setting were to go to countries diametrically opposite, they would not see the sun in the same condition. So meaning, if you're in this country, if you're in Germany, you will not see the sun rising in India, and if you're at the same time the sun is setting, probably in Japan, I don't know, whatever the story. But basically, that's why we're experiencing days and nights because of the movements of the sun. That's all really. Because yesterday we heard this, without sun, there will be nothing. We could not see anything actually. Without sun, we will not be able to identify ourselves. There will be just some minds in the darkness. Imagine some mind in this dark and you just think about something and you cannot think about anything because it's so dark. So sun is very important. Therefore people worship sun. In India they worship sun. You know, there's this yogic exercise, Surya Namaskar. We offer obeisance to the sun god. Because sun is also giving health. So sun is very important. When the sun travels from Devadani, the residence of Indra, to Samyamani, the residence of Yamaraj, it travels 23,775,000 yojanas or 190,200,000 miles in 15 ghatikas or 6 hours. The distance indicated by the word Sadikani Sapanchalim Shati Sahasra Dikani or 25,000 yojanas. That plus 2.5 crores of 12.5 lakhs of yojanas is the distance that sun travels between each two cities. This comes to 23,775,000 yojanas or 190,200,000 miles. The total orbit of the sun is 4 times that distance or 95,100,000 yojanas or 760,800,000 miles. It says the Bhagavatam is purifying even if you do not understand. From the residence of Yamaraj, the sun travels to Nimlochani, the residence of Varuna. From there to Vibhavari, the residence of the moon god, and from there again to the residence of Indra. In a similar way, the moon, along with other stars and planets, become visible in the celestial sphere and then sets and again becomes invisible. Purport. In Bhagavad Gita 10.21, Krishna said, Nakshatranam aham shashi. Any scholars? Sebastian, you know Bhagavad Gita? You are Pandit. Nakshatranam aham shashi. What is shashi? Moon. Nakshatra is the planet. Of all the planets, Krishna says, I am the moon, aham shashi. Of the stars, nakshatra is the stars. Nakshatra is the word of nakshatra. This indicates that the moon is similar to the other stars. The Vedic literature informs us that within this universe there is one sun which is moving. The Western theory that all the luminaries in the sky, different suns, is not confirming the Vedic literature because this is the scientific, statements or stand that everything, whatever the star is in the sky, there's all they're all suns. But Bhagavatam says differently. They're all actually stars, and of the best of the star is the moon. We know one very famous moon phase is in the Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto described when the gopis were very much eager to enjoy with Krishna in the rasa dance. And this was the very Falguna. This is a Falguna day where the moon is the brightest in the whole year. So the gopis, they came when Krishna played the flute and went into the forest. This was the Falguna, there was the moon was the brightest and you could see the whole forest was illuminated. So Krishna chose this the best night. You have a concert, you have these lights, reflectors. So Krishna chose the natural reflector, natural light, the moon. The Western theory that all the luminaries in the sky are different suns is not confirmed in the Vedic literature, nor can we assume that these luminaries are the suns or other universes. For each universe is covered by various layers of material elements, and therefore, although the universe are clustered together, we cannot see from one universe to another. This is another thing which also we very much differ from the current scientific trends, is that each universe is one. It is described that each universe is like one egg looking, and there's a layers of earth, water, fire, air, and each layer is 10 times bigger than the other layer. So it's like a big thing, like a pomegranate property. So it's like a pomegranate. So everybody's inside there, and it is a perfect prison where nobody can escape. Nobody can escape. How can you break these walls? In when Krishna took Arjuna to take the sons of his teacher, they were actually with the chariot. They went through various layers, and this was Arjuna was shocked to see all this. Each layer there's a predominating deity, which is very interesting also for us. And Arjuna was very attracted to each layer. There was a different, you can say, material or spiritual attraction. And in the end, when they finished these layers, and they went to this Viraja. This is yet another layer, transcendental river, Viraja. So, what interesting is to me that everything is personal. We think that things are impersonal. So yesterday, by Lidl, 3 kids sitting on the stairs, opening ice cream, and just let the paper, this. But the ice cream is in plastic. This thing, they just throw it on the ground and start eating. The wind blows it there. I was thinking, well, this is so impersonal. Actually, this is so impersonal. You think I just throw it somewhere else, and they don't think that this is actually planet Earth. This is actually Bhumi Day. In the book called Pradipika, this orange book for the pujaris, it is described. Krishna Kshetra Maharaj described that when we wake up, when the pujari wakes up, first thing he should actually offer obeisance to the spiritual master. Second thing, he should ask permission and beg for forgiveness, Mother Bhumi, so they have to step on you. I mean, this is called consciousness. You think that not just like, I woke up, or open the fridge, drink a beer, or whatever. We think like, oh, Mother Earth, I have to, my sinful feet have to step on this earth. So I should actually ask for permission or ask for forgiveness. Please, sorry, I cannot really. I would like to fly, but it's not possible at this time. So I have to kind of step on you. So everything is personal in the Krishna consciousness movement. We understand this, so we realize this. The sun is a person. The sun god came when Kunti Devi was trying to check out the mantra if it's working. She just taught some girl, and try it out, and it works. The sun god came, and he said, "Well, what are you going to do now?" And she was like, "I don't know." So there's a person there. The rain, we know from Indra, there's a person. He sent all these torrents of rain, amazing rain to Vrindavan Dham. All this Samvartaka, all these like heavy duty clouds. He can do it. He's a person. And so much for the air and all kinds of things. Everything is personal. We have a river, Yamuna came out, or Ganga Devi, or all these different kinds of holy rivers. And even in our, materialistic forests in Germany, I'm sure there's a presiding deity of that forest. Everything is personal. Everything is personal. So once we understand this, then we will be very easily, preserving the nature, or preserving the, we'll not have a global warming or whatever, because we understand everything is Krishna. And somebody showed me the picture yesterday. Who showed me that this pumpkin grown in India? Anybody? On Facebook. This big picture, this big pumpkin like this, huge, and there are hundreds of them somewhere in North India. And I was just thinking, this is exactly what Srimad Bhagavatam explains when somebody is pious and pleases the Mother Earth, pleases the demigods are giving back. And they said that the Mother Earth was all this, when, Prithu Maharaj appeared, all these jewels and minerals and all these things which she was hiding inside her, when he came, she was, given it for free. So Mother Earth was giving all this for free. So Mother Earth can also give big pumpkin like this, or maybe like this, whatever, if she wants to. If she's pleased with our endeavor. So it is said also, if the Krishna consciousness is practiced properly, even the rain will not rain during the day. It will rain during the night when we are sleeping, when we are supposed to sleep. And then in the morning it will be dry. And many times we can see this. It rains at night very nicely, in the morning everything fresh, and everything is nice. That actually Krishna consciousness can bring real harmony to the world. Krishna consciousness is not meant for material progress, that we become now rich or whatever. But as a side effect of Krishna consciousness, it also benefits the people and benefits their lifestyle. And we know that, from various explanations of Srimad Bhagavatam, that when the pious kings ruled the world, the whole world was very happy. Very happy. Imagine everybody just happy in the morning, say, Hari Bol, Prabhu, Hari Bol, I'm going to work now. You know, I mean, that would be nice. You know. And work is not heavy, everything is nice, and everything is connected to Krishna, and everything is very pleasing. Everything is very pleasing. Prasadam is everywhere. No slaughterhouses. I mean, that would be, you can say paradise on earth. Of course, this is not a goal to have paradise on earth. But why not have a nice life also? So Krishna consciousness should bring some harmony. In our communities also, we should have a harmony. We should not be, we read recently, I think last Sunday I gave lecture in Chaitanya Charitamrita, and there was a talk about envy. You know, we should not be envious. Not be envious of other people. If somebody is good or something, we should praise him. Oh, very nice. In the Krishna book, when Krishna was playing in the forest, and they were playing some, not instrument or something, some fruit, and the cowherd boys were dancing, and the Krishna was praising them. He said, "My dear friends, you are dancing and chanting very nicely." This is one of my favorite sentences from Krishna. It's like, the Krishna actually was very pleased with his devotees. So we should also be very pleased with somebody. If somebody is very successful, or somebody is very, better, or somebody is doing something. We should be very pleased. We should say, "Oh, very nice, my dear friend, you're chanting, my dear Vajasvi Prabhu, you're singing and dancing very nicely." So, and devotees should not think, "Oh, he who praises me is my enemy." No, Bhakti Siddhanta, of course, he said this famous sentence: "He who praises me is my enemy." But we should not think, "Oh, this horrible devotee is praising me. What the hell?" No, we should think. We should think, no, this is very nice that he praises me, but actually he's, whatever, he's a better qualities than me, and so forth. And in this way there will be harmony. We should not be pretentious to be who we are not, something that we are not. I'm writing something now about identity. I'm reading lots about identity, and there's a, Srila Prabhupada speaks about upadhis, that we think something that we are not. Even we listened yesterday this lecture, and this morning, who was listening, Sanjay Prabhu was listening, we were showering Prabhupada's lecture or conversation. And Prabhupada says, nowadays everybody tries to be something they are not. Man tries to become women, women tries to become men. That's what Prabhupada says. You may not heard it, I was actually just finishing the shower, so I heard it. So we all try to be something we are not, or people mostly, due to their unrealistic opinion about themselves. Therefore, one should take humble position. But humble position doesn't mean like we are like walking and feeling bad for ourselves. We should just be realistic who we are. This is who I am, and I cannot do better than this. In this lifetime, this is who I am, and Hare Krishna. I try to engage myself in service as much as I can. So then, in that sense, there will be at least somewhat harmony. This is a Kali Yuga. It will be very difficult to have a harmony, because Kali Yuga means disharmony and disturbance, but at least some kind of harmony will be there. So first you have to have a harmony in our own heart, that we should be very properly engaged in Krishna consciousness, be who we are, and give our maximum. And we will read here, actually what I wanted to read is that we have to understand who we are. Prabhupada says here, actually I was thinking when I was reading this purport, what will I speak, because the movements of the sun is not my topic. But what we can understand is that Prabhupada was Prabhupada used the way to understand things. This is called pramana in Sanskrit, meaning that you understand things in a certain way. Pramana, evidence or proof. Beweis, isn't it auf Deutsch? Beweis. How do you understand things? And then, in the 11th canto of Bhagavatam, there's a verse, Shruti Pratyaksham Atihyam Anumanam chatushtam pramaneshu namastanad vikalpasa vairajyate. So, Shruti, we know, hearing from the Vedic knowledge. Pratyaksha, direct perception, we see things, we see the deities ourselves. This is actually Gornita. Aitihyam, this is an interesting word here. This is called traditional wisdom. So how do you know things through traditional wisdom? You know through traditional wisdom, this is an extra pramana. In ISKCON we usually know Shruti, Smriti and Hanuman. Shruti, Pratyaksha and Hanuman. But this is an addition, it's called world knowledge. How do we understand this? It's the traditional wisdom means that you know from like for example from history, you see the material world. I actually, because also I was writing something, so I was researching a little bit, and what does it mean to you? Akotiri, Ani, Timgad, Tikal, Petra, Taxila, Hatusa, Cesipone, Urgench. Means anything to you? Nothing. These, mind you, were the biggest cities in the world, in the ancient world. And this particular city called Cetispon, no, Ani, it's in Armenia, a city of 200,000 people. At that time, this was a huge city, 200,000 people. And a city called Cetispon in modern Iran was once in the 7th century, this 7th century now, was considered the biggest city in the world. Like we have at Delhi or whatever. That was in Iran, was the biggest. This city does not even exist. I looked at them, there's some ruins, there's some walls, and that's it. So from this kind of thing you can understand, this is a temporary world. We think now, Cologne will last, or whatever, my country, But it doesn't last. It does not last. Everything is a constant flux, and things are constantly being destroyed. And we know that we see, like, again now pandemic, my favorite example was when they post this, that animals came when the city, people were not allowed to go outside on the street in cars. So animals just occupied the streets. There was wild pigs walking around the city, all kinds of animals, because that's allowed. It's free. So it's possible to be everything degrade and not exist anymore. And we will also not exist anymore. When we see others, we saw recently, Maharaj, Yogur Maharaj, has left this planet. And when you see this, you think like, I'm also there, 20 more years and I'll be also there in that situation. So this is called traditional wisdom or street wisdom, as they say. This is also one of the pramanas. And on the end we can see this induction. It's a logical induction. Induction means from this you can think this will come there, and from that will come this, and from that will come this, and from that will come this. This is especially prominent in the health world. If you drink, then your liver will be destroyed. You know this, okay? And because liver destroyed, then if something else will be destroyed, and so on and so forth. So you can logically induct that soon I will die. So these things all help us actually to gather knowledge and to understand these things. So we trust all these pramanas, different, but the most trusted pramana is the Shruti, is the Vedic knowledge. And Vedic knowledge, we said Shastra, but also everything was Prabhupada was written. Like for example, I found this very interesting verse in the 8th canto, Srimad Bhagavatam. It says like this: there was a big fight between demigods and demons, and the demigods were, slashing demons, and they said because of the impact on the ground, the legs of the demons and demigods and the wheels, or particles of dust flew violently in the sky, and made a dust cloud that covered all directions as far as the sun, because the fight was so heavy that the dust, there's lots of dust. So the dust was going so far to reach the sun. This is the verse of Bible, very cool verse. So and Prabhupada says in the purport, very interestingly, the clouds of dust covered the entire horizon, but when drops of blood sprayed as far as the sun, the dust clouds could no longer float in the sky. So even blood was, imagine, blood was splattering all over to the sun. Such a huge battle. Sometimes you see some mountains and you wonder, how is this possible? It must be some demigods were fighting, so these stones will stack on each other or something. So, Prabhupada says, a point to be observed is that although the blood is stated to have reached the sun, it is not said to have reached the moon. Apparently, Prabhupada says, it is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the sun, not the moon, is the planet nearest to the earth. So then Prabhupada gives, the sun is supposed to be 93 million miles and the moon is 1,600,000 above the sun. So this is what Prabhupada takes the Shastra's, word of the Shastra's very seriously, and he said, it says the sun, so it's not the moon. Although the whole world may say the moon is closer or whatever, Prabhupada says no, the Shastra said. This is the one unique thing that Srila Prabhupada brought also to us. This his example of faith in the scriptures, in the Vedic scriptures, in the Shrutis. That we should not think that, oh, Prabhupada was, he was, his English was not so good, his English was from this colloquial English, from the Elizabethan English in 17th century, so he didn't really understand, or he wrote something which is not really true. No, we should have this faith. Prabhupada says this. And when Prabhupada says that chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra is the only way, Hare Nama Eva Kevalam, the only way to achieve spiritual success, we should take this to the heart. It's a chanting. We should not think, oh, there's maybe something else. No, it's a chanting. So therefore we should put full energy and full heart in chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. And we should always chant Hare Krishna mantra. Prabhupada says, every program, if it's not accompanied with the kirtan, is not complete. So prasadam distribution, any types of public programs, if there's no kirtan, Prabhupada didn't consider it complete. So we should have always this in mind. And therefore people know us as Hare Krishnas. People don't know if you go to Trinidad, actually, have you been to Trinidad? Trinidad and Tobago, probably a good place for you. You go on the street and people say, hey, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. They call us Hari Bowlers. We're the Hari Bowlers. Everybody, really, you walk on the street, everybody says, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Because so many years devotees are always speaking to people, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, So people think, oh, they're the Hari Bowlers. But we actually the Hare Krishnas. I said, and then they say Hari Bol. I said, they're Hare Krishna. I'm actually Hare Krishna, not a Hari Bowler. Of course, he tells me also to chant the holy name of Krishna, so I'm actually following his instruction. He chants. So Prabhupada wanted this to be a Hare Krishna movement, so we're the Hare Krishna movement, as famous as Hare Krishnas. So because also when people say Hare Krishnas, they also make progress in spiritual life. Hare Krishna. And so many times you can see on Harinam some old man, 90 years old, with a stick coming dancing, So this is, this person will get eternal benefit. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. So, what else? So Prabhupada is very firm, for example, that we never went to the moon. And Prabhupada says here, if we don't believe that they have gone to the moon planet, they will reject us. They will immediately take this, oh, these people are crazy. Even if you give sufficient reason or argument, they will not take it. This is their obstinacy. So Prabhupada from the very beginning, Prabhupada was, I think this was 1967, if you read Prabhupada's Lamrita with Satsvarupa Maharaj, that they were sitting in one house that didn't have a temple at that time in San Francisco. And Prabhupada would they watched TV at that time, a landing on the moon. And Prabhupada would sit in the room with devotees, and they all watching live. Apollo, we are lending the one step for the humanity, whatever. He said, one small step for me, but a big step for humanity, whatever Neil Armstrong had said. And Prabhupada said, no, they didn't go to the moon. And the devotees were shocked. How is this not possible? It's on TV, Prabhupada. Things on TV must be true. It's TV. Of course, nowadays people are much more skeptical. But at that time, TV meant truth, meant the authority, the government. How can government lie? So Prabhupada immediately said, no, they did not went to the moon. And then he gives this example from the Bhagavatam. He said, no, the Bhagavatam said the moon is actually heavenly planets. And Prabhupada says to one reporter, if they went to the moon, they will never want to come back. Why would you want to come back to this if you're going to heavenly planet? And this devotee, one disciple of his, he was very upset. So Prabhupada, how do you speak? Swamiji, at that time not Prabhupada. You're speaking this, government knows you. And Prabhupada says, no, they never went to the moon. Prabhupada's adamant. He said, I cannot go against the Shastra. And this devotee left the movement, actually. Which is kind of a sad thing, but at the same time, for me it was interesting that Prabhupada did not compromise this thing, because if Prabhupada gave an example as, maybe did not go, we will also think that way. But because Prabhupada did this, he sacrificed, you can say, one man. For us, for our understanding, that how important is actually believe what Prabhupada wrote and what Prabhupada says. It's very important to believe. Just talked recently to one devotee and he told me, what does it mean to chant Hare Krishna? Just think of nothing, when you chant, just hear the holy name. What does that mean? He said, this is not working. He was very doubtful. I said, it means exactly that. Just hear the Hare Krishna mantra, that's all. Prabhupada says, just hear the Hare Krishna mantra. And if you can remember the pastime, even better. But in the beginning, just hear the mantra. Just Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Just hear it. That's all. Just there's no big, mystical thing behind it. Just hear the sound vibration. That's all really. When you go to the concert, I'm not saying you did ever go to the concert, but if you go to the concert, there's a dark and there's a band on the stage or whatever, the DJ or whatever. And there's a light only in that person, and the loudspeakers are from all sides, and you cannot hear about anything else. You cannot think about anything else except that what you see on the stage and hear. Isn't it? Anybody been to a concert? Nobody. It's all the devotee is not interested in sense education. When I was young, I was not into these things. So the same thing with the Hare Krishna mantra. We had the Bhakta Sebastian is the witness here. When we had the Bhakta program, we had this very interesting, you were not there, Moritz, no, Sebastian was there. We had this very interesting experiment. We put a bucket, every devotee put a bucket on their heads. Did you try this? Very good. And when you put a bucket on your head, and you try to chant Hare Krishna mantra, it's an amazing experience. There's nothing but Hare Krishna mantra. Because the words are just circulating around, they're coming back straight to your ears. Did you try?
Yeah.
Amazing, isn't it?
It's very good.
It's just weird looking, people will laugh, but it's very, it's very amazing thing actually. I was in, now this summer, I went to India, and we went to the Bhakti Thakur's house in Gudrun, crossing the river. And there was this small room, Bhakti Thakur's house, there's a very small room, it's like 1 meter by meter and a half. And this room had no windows, no light. And then Bhaktivinoda would go there, close the door, and he would just alone chant Hare Krishna. I was thinking, wow, this is it. This is the ultimate attentive chanting. Just like that. You go to this room, there's nothing, you close the door. Of course nowadays there's the traffic, but at that time I don't think there was much traffic going on. And he would just sit and Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare. Imagine if you chant 64 rounds or 120 rounds, very attentive like this. Your life will be very, very different within short period of time. And we can see the Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his songs. He says this, I'm sitting here in Swanada Sukada Kunja, in this house in Godrum, and I have many realizations, he says. And he says, one day while chanting, my house turned into Vaikuntha.
Wow.
You know, you chant in some house, you know, brick and stone, a house, and then suddenly this house turns into Vaikuntha. And why did the house turn into Vaikuntha? Because of the chanting. So we should have faith in this chanting, we should have faith in this process. That what Prabhupada says is actually true. What he says about material world is true. We don't criticize anybody, we don't mean to... Sorry? You want to say that?
Is it okay to...
Sure.
One wonderful verse there is in Srimad Bhagavatam. Krishna said, as when sun rises, I mean it's very related to the... when sun rises, it reveals everything what is around us.
Yes.
But sun didn't create this. It was already there.
Yes, yes, yes.
And in the same way, Krishna said, the potent and true realization of me and your true self, this reveals the true things of things.
Yes. It is there, it just has to be just covered over.
Yes.
So therefore, Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakya. So, and interesting enough, now there's a conversation, this is for the last, conversation between Prabhupada and his disciples. The one devotee said, Srila Prabhupada, what is that ingredient, or what is that thing that causes faith to develop in one? What is the ingredient? What does it mean to develop faith? Prabhupada says very interesting thing, purity. Purity, the more you become pure, the faith is firm. You know, therefore we have these regulatory principles, therefore we have these morning programs, therefore we chant, we do this and that, and fasting, Ekadashi, and all these things. It's that we actually becoming more and more pure. We're purifying ourselves. You know, sometimes you kick your leg and you say, oh, I got some purification today, you know. Yeah, this is true, this is actually purification. Everything is purification. But we want to have a ultimate purification, purification of our consciousness. So listen to this. The devotee said, so faith comes from previous pious activities? Prabhupada says, no, may not be previous activities. Because some people, as we know, they join and they become Parivrajikacharya, Paramahans. Immediately after 2 years, they become pure devotees, some are very advanced, and you think like, wow, you know. And some devotees are struggling for 30 years, and they're still mental and fried. But so does that mean that, you know, of course, that means also from a past life, somebody got purified. Prabhupada says, that may not be previous activity. You believe the authority spiritual master. So believing in spiritual master, whether you are pious or impious in past life, this is the key to actually develop purity. So the devotee said, as purity develops, one becomes more faithful. Prabhupada says, yes, that is purity, adau shraddha, the beginning is faith. Then you mix with faithful men. So we have a devotee association. Devotees is very important. You know, because devotees of, you know, faithful man is in that sense that they actually practicing Krishna consciousness so many years. You know, we talked to Sanjay Prabhu, 10 years. 10 years, you know, the 10 years have gone like anything. And also for us, you know, you think, you know, this is a senior devotee, but what is a senior devotee? Is the one who somehow didn't leave the movement. You're kind of okay, I'm still around. And then you look back and you say, well, look at the picture when I was 91, you know, I was a skinny brown child. And somebody just sent me a picture from Vrindavan, you know, I was like, wow, I was a skinny brown child. So this is what it is, you know. Having faith, associating with faithful men, then it will develop. Otherwise, if you take initiation and simply sleep, then this faith will be lost. So we can take even initiation, which is very nice, it's a wonderful thing, we recommend to everybody. But if you just, Prabhupada says, sleep means don't do anything much seriously, then it's not, the faith will not develop. Therefore, it is said, Adau Shraddha Tato Sadhu Sangha, you accept faith maybe blindly. Now you make further progress by mixing with advanced devotees, then it will remain fixed, otherwise you will lose. So the point is that in the beginning of the Krishna consciousness, we do something which we do blindly, we don't know. You know, I got initiation, I didn't know, I just thought, okay, bye. Actually, I didn't even want, that was an interesting story. I didn't even want to take initiation with this guru. And one devotee said, "Oh, Bhakti Sasha," we were in Vrindavan, and he was from England. He said, let's take initiated." I said, "I don't know." I said, "Oh, let's do it. I said, "What do you mean?" I said, let's go." And he called this guru and he said, "Me and Bhakti Sasha want to take initiation from you." I was like, "What are you doing?" You know, I was not planning, you know, and he said, "Okay." And the guru said, "Okay." I was like, "Oh my God," you know. But I guess because I was mental, I had several gurus. I was thinking, "Which should I take from this one? Should I take from this? Should I take from this?" And you know, so Krishna just cut it for me and he said, "Just do this." You know? But I did not know what am I doing. You know, I remember I took initiation in Mayapur. That was in Mayapur. This was the day when the Bhakti Bringer Govinda took sannyas and Bhakti Chaitanya Swami. It was 93. And we were this yagya, you know, and you know, you got this black thing from the yagya, and then I went to the bathroom and I was washing my hands and looking in the mirror and I was thinking, what have you done? What have you done? You promised to the rest of your life you would chant 60 around. You know, I was thinking, what have you done? I couldn't, you know, that dawned on me that I promised to follow 4 regular principles the rest of my life. I was thinking, my God, you know. But then I said, well, you know, I'm here already in India, you know what to do. So I just still hanging around. So sometimes we have to just do blindly, just like the Sankirtan devotees. When you're mental, what do you do first? What is the formula when you're mental? Don't know, you think like, oh my God, I cannot go out. What do you think first thing? Just approach first person. This is the formula. Anybody, whoever comes, "Excuse me, sir." And even, you know, but sometimes you will think like, "Oh, this person will not take. Look at this, he looks angry. Oh, this girl is so beautiful. I don't want to approach her because I will get, you know, I should do this." And just first person, whoever comes, old lady, "Excuse me," you know, a book. And then your day is beginning very nicely. So in the same way, you know, we have a mental in the Krishna consciousness movement. We just, should I take initiation of it? No, just do it. Just once we were traveling in America with our bus, and we stayed usually in some forest, and then in the morning we take a bath in the river, you know, very cold mountain river. And once the river was so cold, like you put your foot like you count to 3 and come on the red foot, you know. You're like, oh my God, we were standing there, should we bathe or not? And one devotee said, "No, just like in Sankirtan. Excuse me, sir." And he just dived and it's freezing cold. We were like, oh my God. But he did it, so we all jumped. So sometimes it's like this in Krishna consciousness. Just dive in and what happens, you know. What can you lose? What can you lose? You know, this famous Karl Marx says, the Shudras of all world unite, you know, the workers. You cannot lose anything but your chains. So it's exactly like this. If you dive into Krishna consciousness, you cannot lose anything but your bonds of the material world. This is the only thing you can lose. You cannot lose anything else. And it works. It works. So, Prabhupada says this. You accept fate, maybe blindly, and now you make further progress by mixing with advanced devotees. So this is the key. You know, we do something like this. We take this first, you can say, blind step, and we jump into the freezing cold river of Krishna consciousness. And then after some time, we realize, oh, maybe, you know, by mixing with the faithful devotees, you know, faithful devotees will tell us, well, maybe this is not the best, or this is not the best. Maybe you should shave your beard, you know. Oh, you think I should shave my beard? Yeah, you should shave your beard. You say, oh, okay. You know, or things like this, whatever, you know. And then we'll slowly make progress, and then we'll become faithful ourselves. And so much so that we can actually, when new people come, they will see like, wow, this devotee is 3 years in the movement, he's a senior devotee. You know, I remember when I joined, there was the devotee who was 7 years in the movement. For me, this was 7 years in the movement. This was like ancient, 7 years. I could not imagine somebody can be 7 years Hare Krishna devotee. But nowadays, you know, 10 years, it just goes like this. So then we become this faithful association for other people. So this is how the cyclic succession works, and this is how Krishna consciousness works, and this is why Krishna consciousness is still working, because the other movements, you know, came and gone and changed philosophies, and the Christianity has changed all kinds of things and philosophies, and but we are still around. After demise of the spiritual master, Hare Krishna movement is doing really well, really well. I mean, we have more temples than ever. India is booming. Every corner there's a big, 2,000 square meter temple. Everywhere, big Mayapur, this whole thing, and we are still doing well for this principle alone. If we take a step ourselves, associate with advanced devotees, and advanced devotee instruct us and help us to our progress, and then we ourselves become advanced devotees and instruct others. And in this way, the parampara will be secure, and this is actually one of our services also. So your service is not only to distribute books or to preach or to whatever, but your service is also to become advanced and steady devotees. So when somebody else sees you, they'll think like, oh, this person has practiced so many years. And they will become steady and so on. So this is also part of your service, our service. Okay, I think this is it, what I wanted to say for today. Thank you very much for your attention, half attention, or whatever. And if you like to add anything and ask questions, maybe. Yes.
I would just like to add something very small.
Yes.
Srila Prabhupada, you said he had this faith, like the landing on the moon and so many things that people did not go there. But he also said, when he was, telling to the people that they didn't go, have you gone? Did you go? Do you have experience? And from Srimad Bhagavatam, when a person is liberated, is traveling throughout the whole universe back to Vaikuntha, right on the airplane.
Yes.
So apparently, he's also supporting, as far as possible, this Shastric revelation with his perception and knowledge and acquiring things.
Yes.
He's not just blindly following this. Therefore, he stressed so much to develop this common sense also.
They asked once Indra Prabhu something about Nanda Maharaj, something in his courtyard, and his answer was, go there and you will find out yourself. So this is the answer to all this. Just go there and find out, because it's possible. Okay, anything else? First time. Anything else? Second time? Yes, Prabhu.
No, I would like just to share how once when I was in Golokadam in Germany, in Germany, I will just say it shortly. There are more details, but I saw elves there. Really,
Elves.
elves. Yeah.
Small people.
Yes, with small hats.
With the hats.
With
Oh.
the ears and small, big eyes, like this big or something. But everything how it happened, showed me that only what you need to be able to see or mourn or this and for real, you need to change your vision, somehow by mercy of the Lord, by the chanting.
With the darshan of elves.
No, I mean, they was very curious by nature and very actually advanced, as I felt, and they gave me some blessings in that moment. And some other things happened because of that, but it was really, and also you see how everything is connected. It's not that the elves are belonging to this tradition, to this country, it's just one united, existence of all of us, and how actually only what we need to be able to see such things is just by mercy somehow. Your eyes get a little bit more clearer, more consciousness become more subtle, more sensitive. Now we're very rough. I mean, I'm very raw in my conception, so I cannot see such things. But to experience this is very important. That we know I cannot see because really, not that because you accept it as that I'm impure, therefore I cannot see. But it's really this. As more consciousness and vision is pure, we see more. I think it's truly like this.
Once Srila Prabhupada was traveling with, thank you.
No, thank you.
Srila Prabhupada was traveling with Tamal Krishna Goswami. Tamal Krishna Goswami was his personal servant. It is described in a book called Servant for the Servant, I think. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj would carry Prabhupada's suitcase, and the deities, Prabhupada would carry Radha and Krishna deities at that time with him. Anyway, while Prabhupada was taking a shower, whatever, Tamal Krishna Maharaj would open the suitcase and put the deities on the table and put flowers, whatever. So he would put his deities, and Prabhupada came and he saw it. He said, "Wow, look at how Radha and Krishna are nicely dancing." Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, Prabhupada, I don't see it. Sorry. But Prabhupada would see it, he would see the deities dancing. So it's not like, again, these things are, we take it as, wow, miracle or whatever, because people are, as you said, very crude in the material world. We are so crude and gross. And so these things are like every little things which is like out of normal, we think like, wow, in Christianity, a miracle, But in reality, these miracles are everywhere all the time. If you read Srimad Bhagavatam, it's full of miracles. Like Shringi, he could see, he offended my father. He was like hundreds of kilometers away. He offended my father, therefore I curse him. How could he see this? Dhritarashtra, we read Bhagavad Gita, Dhritarashtra could see battlefield of Kurukshetra. How? So these are all miracles. Or whatever, so many other, arrows. If you read Mahabharata, it's full of these things. Throwing an arrow, a snake, which is a snake, but actually it's an arrow. And, Brahmastra, and those demons, Gatotkacha, how do you, this is always, this so-called miracles are just access to different dimensions, and Kali Yuga is just becoming age of iron, and we become very dull. So when we see somebody can, I was once in Radhakund, and it was actually Indra had a kirtan in Radhakund at that time, and we all went to Radhakund, we were sitting there, and one devotee came to me, one Russian devotee, very good friend of mine, and he said, "Oh, you're going to America?" I said, "How do you know?" He said, "I can see it on your forehead." Somehow